Victor,
Yes, yes.
can you see us?
No, I cannot see anyone.
I can see you.
Oh, okay. I did gallery. I don't see anyone. It's weird. It's good that you can see me. It's excellent.
And I can hear you as well, of course.
Yeah, I hear you as well. So how?
Oh, it's the problem is at my end. I'll fix it. How
Okay.
about now?
I see you, Stankarna. I see you now.
Okay.
How are you?
Okay, how are you? You look good.
Thank you. Thank you.
You practicing your German?
Oh yeah, actually, we had very good Zoom meetings. We are reading books. We read German books. We have German reading club.
Uh-huh. So what about your teacher? She left you.
The teacher? What?
Yeah. So there was a woman who used to come to your place and you practiced German with her some time ago?
Okay.
Or you went to her, I don't know.
No, we finished that project because now I have there are many reasons for this, and she is busy. But I have we got German meetups, meeting all the week.
You only do meetups now.
Meetups and this reading club.
So you are on your own.
I mean, without teacher, but I now learning French with a teacher.
Oh wow! So you already graduated in German.
I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with my job.
But you gave it an early start when you were in school, as a kid.
Yeah. Oh, I started. Yeah, I was 8 years old.
Yeah. So how is this going to work? Is it just you and me?
Well, I don't know, but well, it's okay. I think we can handle this.
I noticed that you uploaded some slides. How did you do that?
Well, I follow this. There is a manage button. Button, there is a file. I uploaded, but I don't know how to use them. So it is another thing. Yes, I uploaded the files, but how to I can get to them, I have no idea. This is.
No, I don't know. I did see the manage button, but at this point, I don't see it anymore.
So you saw, okay. So, oh yeah, now, yeah, you know, to get the manage,
Once I connected, I lost that button. And I lost the whole screen. I can only see the video screen now. And was it in your browser?
Okay, there is, okay, let me see. Okay, so if you go to whatever, it's called Deck 2020, and there's a Leef meeting and these files. And let me see if I can upload them just for.
You uploaded many versions of that.
I know, but because I was trying to. I was not sure if let me remove. They're all the same, so
They're all the same.
Yeah, remove some of them at least. Yeah.
Okay, I now got the button. So if you go to the manage button, then what happens?
There is a file, just another will be file tab, and when you click the file, it will prompt you to upload it.
I see files, and that's where I see your files, but I see only ways to.
But if you click on file, there is a little finger. When you put cursor on the word file, you will see a finger, and this finger is if you click.
Me, it's Robinson.
Hey, Robinson.
Hey, Robinson. How are you?
Hello, everybody.
So, Victor, do I have to click the manage button or just the same screen where manage button is?
Well,
you cannot start a video because the host has stopped it. Who is the host?
I don't know who is the host. Iran is the host, right?
No, I'm not the host.
Well, who is the Victor was there first.
Okay,
so
okay. If I'm the host. Am I the host? It's what you say.
I don't really know. So can you click the my name? There's a one thing more. Can you click more? Give me the host grant.
And what should I do? Say it again. What do you need to do?
Okay. So in the bottom there's the participant. Can you see that?
Okay.
Click that one, and then you are able to see the list of participants on your right.
Okay.
And then you move your mouse to my about my name.
Okay.
And you will show the mute and also the more. And you move the mouse to the more, and you should be able to see make him the host. Can you see that?
I make you.
So host 500 can make us host.
Yeah, host 500. Yes. You make me to a co-host. You need to make me to the host.
Yeah, right now.
The host can only make co-host.
Iran, you are the host now. I made you host.
I'm the host. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I will make everybody the co-host.
Okay.
Can you get this?
Yeah, give it.
Okay, there are two hosts of 500. One is Victor and one is Shanta. So, but I think you two actually go here and with some vendor table channel. So that's why I didn't show the grid. No, I'm joking. Don't worry.
Right, so I can see everybody.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, también. Hey.
Hey, you guys have to get a background.
You can make the virtual background. So yeah.
Hey, Ira, you stole my background.
Hello.
I stole your background. What?
Yeah, that's
No,
that's my place. That's Pitt Cathedral of Learning.
No, it's a Duke. It's a Duke.
It's Duke.
Yeah, it's not. It's not the Cathedral learning from Pitt.
Oh, yeah. That's bigger, taller, better, right?
Yeah. Yes, better. Yeah. Okay.
You guys know this thing is recording right now?
Yes, it's recording. Yeah, and be able to see, there is one cloud and in the red dot, in the middle. That basically means we are being recorded. Yes.
So, I have slides, which is basically answers to those questions. What do you want me to do? Shall I share the slides with you, or?
No, you're the host. So basically, you're able to share. You're able to share it. Yeah.
I'm host.
You're the co-host.
Co-host.
Yes.
So
make everybody to be the co-host. I think we're waiting for. Yeah, we're waiting for Serge. But other than that, I think we have everybody here. And I make everybody to be the co-host. So you should be able to share your slides if you want. Just to make sure you finish your talk within about 5 minutes, because the whole section will automatically shut down. If we 15 minutes after the agenda, so they will kick everybody out.
So here is my request for you. So there are 6 questions, and each answer can take 5 minutes. So I will start with number 1, and maybe after number 2, I will run out of time, and you kick me out, okay?
I will say, hey, thumbs up.
Yeah, and maybe if people are interested at the end of the half an hour, we can return to those questions again.
Okay.
So I will just randomly pick some questions and start talking.
That makes sense.
Can I ask a question quickly?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah, we can hear you. Yes.
Perfect, thank you. So just a quick question about this 5 minutes that we have for the presentation. So how can we upload the slides, or how is that possible?
So do we have to upload them? We can share the slides and everybody can see it, right?
Okay, so there's an option. So I see it in German.
question. I'm trying I try to share my slides and see how it works. If you
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Do you see anything?
Not yet.
Well,
Not yet.
Well, here's the thing. I click share screen and the slide, and okay, I'm not very successful in this. Okay.
Let me see.
Sorry. Let me see now.
Okay.
Sure.
Yes,
now,
we're able to see something come. Yeah,
Okay,
something
good.
come up. Yes.
It shows.
Yes.
okay, excellent. So I stop sharing now. So
can I try myself?
Yes,
yeah,
please.
absolutely. Just let me advance slides because yesterday do you see the changing?
Yes, very good. Very good. Yes.
Okay, I stop sharing now. Please next.
Shankar, can you try that?
Okay, let me try.
Yes.
Shows?
Yes, very.
Okay. How do I? Okay, now I stop sharing.
You can do stop sharing.
Okay.
Yes.
I did stop.
So, Damien, can you?
Yeah, sure. I would try to do that. So first of all, I have to open the file. And now I can to share it somewhere. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah? Yes. Very good.
Very good.
Same old slide, Damien.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I'm just joking.
You know that once, yeah? Okay. So here
first
we have a collaboration, huh?
The standard.
How can I stop it now? So how can I stop this presentation?
Stop sharing.
Just stop sharing.
Here you are. Yeah, fine. It works. Great. Thank you.
So Damien, are you going to talk about the NSF DFG thing?
Yeah. Just quickly, just
because
one slide. We have 5 minutes.
I may not. Yeah, they may not give me enough time to talk about everything, so I leave it up to you, that part.
Yes, but I'm going to just mention it quickly, and then I think the discussion is far more important, yeah, that the people can ask questions and whatever.
Okay, can you see my slides?
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
Robinson, does he have slides? We haven't.
I don't have slides.
Okay.
So maybe I can use yours.
You can use mine?
Well, actually, Serge, doesn't have a slides too because the DAPA take a longer time to get approval. Yeah. And
so where is Serge? You're looking through the window?
No, I have two displays. Actually, one is show my email. So.
Oh. I thought he's just outside the window.
I got my window. Okay, I can send an email to remind him, but he was in DAC yesterday, so I assume he's very familiar with the whole procedure.
Yeah, he knows. I talked to him a few days ago, and he says he would know. He knows.
Yeah, he actually went to the training section. I saw him there, so he's very serious. Yeah, so.
No, he told me that you and I are going to be in the same panel. So he is coming, unless he has fallen asleep.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, for attending this, panel. It's basically the first one in the deck this year, and I know it's actually quite late in middle night in Germany. So thank you so much, Damien.
Yeah, with pleasure. Thank you very much for the invitation. Yeah. So it's really a pleasure to be part of this whole. But I had some issues, personal issues here in Germany. So this is why I'm not re-contributing to all the sessions. Yeah, and well, but I'm really happy to be with you, and thank you very much also to Shankar inviting me to all this. Yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Well, I was an instrument. I did not do anything.
Yeah, come on. Thank you very much, Shankar. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see some funding, also bilateral funding between US and Germany on this topic. Maybe we can go for circuit designs, things like that. So maybe we can set up something.
Great.
So I don't know. Yeah. Let's plan something. Having some strategies on that.
Sure.
Yeah. So just like let you know the total number of registration, on this panel is more than 180. So we are anticipating, about half or 1/3 will, attend this real, it's a live, panel, and the rest of them, based on our experience in the last 2 days, they will watch the video. So, yeah.
So is this going to be recorded?
It is being recorded, but video will be available until August 1st. The people need to register back to see this. Oh, Serge just join us.
Hello.
Hey, Serge.
Hello.
Hello.
Give me 1 second. Let me make you to be the co-host so you're able to open up your video. And also,
right now it's saying the host is stopping my video from displaying.
Yes, I just grant you to be the co-host. So you now should be able to turn on your video and also to share a slides if you have.
I don't have slides. I don't see myself yet. I see Sankar and all of you guys.
Yeah, can you try if you are able to turn on your video, because it looks like you are not, you're not granted. No, I mean Serge.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. We saw you're turning on, so.
Okay.
We haven't seen you yet.
I see Joanne is available. I can see you.
Can see who?
Oh, okay. I can see myself. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to go get a different shirt. You guys look a lot more formal than me. Okay, I'm going to go off video for a moment.
13. Okay, now I'm seeing that people are coming to this panel. I already seen 20 people join us. I think people are rushing into this panel. So I'm going to share my slides. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay, good. I don't put on the full screen because, in many cases, the Zoom will differentiate the different, display. In some cases, they may mess up, my mouse. So I just put here.
Maybe it's a good idea if everybody mutes himself if not talking.
Yes.
It's true. Yes. Let's wait about 1 or 2 minutes because I see the people are rushing into this Zoom room. We now have, besides all the panelists and the moderator, we have 40 people already join us. And the attendees will not be able to talk if they're not a co-host. So one thing they could do is they actually can write all the questions, using the chat box on the back web page. So we're able to pick up all the questions there. So just let you know. I think now we have 40 attendees, so I can go ahead to start introduce everybody here and give a short introduction. So, and then we're gonna start the 5-minute talk for every panelist. Okay. Okay. Hello everybody. So my name is Yan Chen from Duke University. Thank you so much for joining us for this research grant opportunities, trend, and implementation panel. And today we have a very prestigious the 5 panelists to serve this panel as we show here. So we will introduce them one by one. So before we start, so I want to show one cartoons here, which I copied from the web page. This basically show professors, prayers. So you basically worry about your tenure, your career, or so on first, and you need to have patience to endurance as a student, and also maybe your boss, and your publication, so on first. And you will imagine that after you got tenure, you don't listen to all these noises, and hopefully you want to do something wrong. But in reality is no matter you have your tenure or not, every day you still need to worry about your research grant because you need to get some support to run your research group and also to do something you want to pursue. So you're still going to pray, every day, hopefully, there are some funding agencies to grant you, you're able to do the research. Okay, that's a joke, but it's also true. So, DAC, organize such a panel every year, to share the experience, from the successful professors regarding how they're able to, receive the research grant to sponsor their research, and also the opinion, from the funding agencies, to select those, proposals and to fund this research. And they actually sent me the 6 questions they want us to cover in this panel. So when they found me to organize this panel, I list them here. Those also including some new trend, in the funding strategies and how they're able to solve the competition between different research centers and also the small individual awards, and also how they're able to initiate the emerging research topic and balance the focuses and also the diversity of the topics, and also the similarity and the differences and also challenges, solutions in different research funding agencies and the strategies from a regional and global perspective, and also the importance for the diversity and the broader impact in the proposal writing and evaluation, so on and so forth, from very high level things to very details. I'm sure you have many, many more questions you want to ask. So now let me introduce, our, prestigious, panelist. The first, panelist is, Dr. Shankar Basu, from National Science Foundation. I think everybody in this room should, know him. He's the, program director, in charge of ISHF, and also he received a PhD from University of Pittsburgh and have very rich, experience across both industry and also academia. And he's a fellow of IEEE and fellow of, AAAS. And the second, panelist is, Mr. Serge Leef from DARPA, and also, under the MTO, or the Microsystem Technology Office. And his research included computer architecture, simulation, synthesis, semiconductor IP, CPS modeling, distributed system, and many. And before he moved to this important position, he also had an extensive, experience in the different, admin and also, business roles, such as, the vice president of the new venture of Mantra, now it's acquired by the Siemens and many others. So the third, panelist is Dr. Rob Zampino from DOE. He's now with Advanced Scientific Computing Research Program Office, and he received the PhD from RPI with honor, and actually also it's a master with honor too. And his research focuses including revolutionary basic research and development efforts for the high performance computing and application through actual skill and beyond computing and energy efficient technologies. So the fourth, panelist is Dr. Damien Dudek. He's the program director of the DFG, from Germany, and he will actually offer us the international perspective. In the DFG, he's in charge of the electrical engineering program, and he received a PhD from University of Wuppertal, and they received a postdoc training from the Catalan Institute of Nanotechnology, or what people know as ICN. And he also is responsible for many programs, including semiconductor, also component circuit system, communication, high frequency, and network technology, or theoretical electrical engineers. So our fifth, panelist is Dr. Victor Zunov, from the ISRC, where he's serving as a chief scientist. He received a PhD from Institute of Physics and Technology in Moscow, and his research interests include nanoelectronics device and system, properties of material at nanoscale, bio-inspired electronic system, and so on and so forth. And he also chaired, the emerging research device, working group for the ITRS, or people know the International Technology Roadmap for the Semiconductor, for many years. So again, I introduce myself, from Duke University. I will be very honored, to chair this panel, and also, feel lucky to, have all this, those panelists to serve on this panel. So agenda will be like this. We'll first, I will introduce all the panelists, and we will give, the 5 minutes, for each panelist to share their opinion. They want to share with us, and then we go to the Q&A and conclude the whole panel. And please mute yourself, and please type your question in the checkbox on the back webpage. But you don't need to wait until the talk completes, because I will select the questions based on the sequence I receive them. Okay, so now based on our agenda, Shankar, are you able to share your slides?
Yeah, let me try.
Yeah. Okay, for everybody else, if you can mute, that would be great. Thank you so much.
Is this okay?
Yes.
Okay, so thanks, Sharon, for inviting me to this event. So I have been handed 5 questions and 5 minutes, 6 questions in 5 minutes. So what I will do is I'll try to go over the first question first, and then the second, and so on. I have it written down in the form of a slide. I am sure I wouldn't be able to even get to the third question, but if anybody is interested, I can share these slides with all the participants or the panelists or whoever after the event ends. Okay. So the first question was, what are the new trends in funding strategies in different funding agencies? So we'll talk about government priorities only. Of course, we are all government people here in this panel. And speaking of government priorities, it's been obvious to any perceptive individual that in a broad sense, the priorities of the government are in topics like AI, computing in a broad sense, including quantum computing and all that. And this is not just a priority for computer science and engineering. It's actually a priority in the larger framework of all science, technology, engineering, everything taken together. If you've been reading the news or following what's happening in the Congress, you will know better what I mean. And this is beginning to be reflected in NSF programs and even the programs in other agencies, which you will hear about. For example, the NSF some years ago has started the so-called 10 Big Ideas program, which was started by its previous director, Franz Cordova. She has recently left. Part of that 10 Big Ideas was quantum computing. We have also a large program at NSF on AI that started last year. At a smaller scale, we have, Serge knows that we have a program with DARPA called RTML, which is real-time machine learning, and things like that. And at the same time, DARPA has ERI, which Serge will probably talk more about, and DOE has some new programs in the making, which Robinson can tell us more about. So in general, I would say that you are at a good time, at a good place. So nothing to worry about. Okay, that's my answer to the first question. Second question is how to resolve competition between big research centers and small awards. And this is a non-question. Actually, there is no competition. That they serve two different purposes, and funding agencies do not plan one at the expense of the other. At least we don't. The small grants are necessarily meant for sustainability of research communities over long periods of time, decades actually, whereas the centers are more focused programs, sometimes work with industry and are designed to solve specific problems. So we have had, for instance, the NSF Design Automation Program, which has been in existence from the mid-80s, since the beginning of the VLSI revolution of Carver-Mead. And it's been there for that many years, just to sustain the community. Whereas we do have center scale programs at NSF, as all of you know. We have engineering research centers, we have science and technology centers, which are like $50 million per year for $50 million for 10 years each. There is Expeditions for Computing program, which is $10 million for 5 years. But those are all meant for specific targeted problem areas. Now, from the point of view of a proposer or a community member, an academic faculty member, there is maybe a decision to be made as to whether you want to target large research centers or you want to target individual proposals. Now, this is a personal decision, and the decision depends on what you want to do. It depends on individual style of research, the stage of career you are in, inclination to do collaboration with industry. The centers you require a lot of collaboration, a lot of industry involvement sometimes, and it's also a function of where you see yourself as a successful individual, where you see capable of making the highest impact, okay? Third question was, how do we initiate new and emerging research topics, AI, ML, security, within the scope of the society? Now, I don't know what you meant by society, Iran. I think you meant the research community, perhaps. But this is a very deep question. It's a loaded question, and it's a topic of much discussion, not just here, everywhere, including European funding agencies. Books have been written on this, and this is no time to discuss within 5 minutes. I have given a talk on this topic only for an hour, so it's kind of an insult to the question to ask this question here, right? I will just say that there are two ways essentially that this happens. One is by grassroots movement. It happens organically from the community. The other is top-down fashion, which is dictated by the government. Give you examples at NSF. Cyber security, cyber physical systems, which many of you know about, was started some 10 years ago, just because of some program managers and some community leaders, some researchers. They brainstormed for a number of years, and it has become a field of research now. The term was invented at NSF. Now people have faculty hires in this area. Bioinformatics is another such example. Now you have departments of bioinformatics, but started at NSF. Other type of example, the top-down example, is nanotechnology, from which many of you benefited, even in design automation. So that was a top-down initiative, started during the Clinton era. When President Clinton was the president of the United States, the government gave us some $300 to $400 million every year. And they said, you go and do nanotechnology research for the good of the society. And a lot of people got engaged. So how this happens, depends on the situation. there is no one formula for this. I will just note that AI, ML, or security, as you have asked, these are not emerging topics anymore. They have already emerged, although the hardware aspect of it's more recent, and it's been being used in the design automation program here for the last couple of years. But neither artificial intelligence, nor machine learning, nor security is a baby program here, right? How am I doing with time?
You can save if you want, or you can finish in 1 minute. That's fine too. So.
Okay, a minute. All right, so the next question, number 4, how to balance the focus. What was that? I cannot see the screen because it's, yeah, how to balance the focus and diversity of funded topics from a funding agency's perspective. Well, you do not want to put all your eggs in the same basket, and it's like a financial portfolio. So you want to make the most profit out of it. So in the long term as well as in the short term. So it's a balance between risk and reward. And this is where maybe funding agencies like NSF and DARPA differ, because DARPA is a mission agency. Their time horizon is different. I can only comment on what we do at NSF. So since the goal of NSF is to sustain the research community over decades, we fund people even if it is not a hot topic, but it's a good proposal. There are plenty of examples. For instance, the memristors, which gave rise to resistive ramps and all these things. You may not know that it was funded. Actually, memristors was the work of Leon Chua and Steve Kang in the 60s. It was funded out of NSF. People forgot about it. And then at a small workshop or a meeting at Stanford, sometimes between 2000 and 2010, Victor Zinov was there, and I was there. People from HP came and talked about the fact that they have seen memristors in real life. That's a small example, and it was although forgotten, we kept the community going. There are many other things. NIPS declared that neural networks were dead around 2000, but it has come back again. So there is no formula for doing this balance. It's a balancing act between various kinds of projects and topics. So there's no formula for doing this. There's no formula for creating a balance in your financial portfolio. And if I knew how to do it for my own financial portfolio, I would be rich and not be here talking to you today. So I stop here.
Okay, thank you so much, Shankar. Now let's move to the next one. So let me check. So yeah, sir. Yeah. Okay, sir, you go ahead. Oh, you're mute. You need to be muted. Yes.
Got it. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to follow Sankar's example and address the questions that were posed first, and then make a few general comments. So as far as new trends and funding strategies, I can't speak for other agencies. I can only speak for DARPA, and specifically for Microelectronics Technology Office, or Microsystems Technology Office at DARPA. And what I found interesting is that we have textured funding vehicles. There is a thing called Polyplexus platform, which allows very small money, highly speculative explorations. We have ability to award seedling type of programs where we can postulate a question and see if there's a decent answer to it. We can do a super seedling where multiple parties pursue the same question in parallel or pursue different facets of the same question. We also have this notion of microelectronics exploration or AI exploration, where we load 5 performers in parallel to pursue a particular topic for, and this is supposed to be really, really fast, like 90 days from proposal to money. We also have open office proposals that people can just arbitrarily come in and pitch against, and then the classical BAAs. So how do you resolve the competition between big research centers and small individual awards? So for small proposers, we kind of lowered the barrier, I think, with this polyplexus mechanism. This is essentially early stage community development, and this platform facilitates town square style discussions and ask me anything sessions and ability for parties to form their ideas and to collaborate as they zero in on trying to understand what exactly is the program manager really looking for here. And then microelectronics exploration and AI exploration, that this is like typically 5 parallel tracks to explore a problem from different angles or different approaches. As far as the barriers for large and non-traditional performers, I basically go out of my way to engage with that community. I market my programs to them because I want non-traditional performers to want to participate. And as you probably know, it takes a lot of stamina to work with the government. The accounting is very difficult, and legal terms are onerous. And so the solution that we typically guide the non-traditional performers to is OTA type of vehicle. And I've been successful in recruiting companies that don't normally work with the government into my programs. On balancing focus and diversity of funded topics, you know, again, I can't speak for the agency, but I don't really view the balance as an aspirational goal for what I'm doing. So I'm interested in best ideas and best performers that understand and expand upon program's goal as stated to the community. They will typically win. And as I said, I engage in pretty active outreach to the community, and I'm looking for parties that really share, with whom we have shared vision. I don't want people to go on tangents if they don't share the vision that I'm interested in pursuing. On the next one, how do I balance the focus and diversity? Again, I don't view balance as an aspirational goal here, and I think I already talked about this. So next, similarities, differences, challenges, and solutions in research funding from a regional perspective. So speaking for DARPA, DARPA has a very unique culture that has been impossible to replicate. And I have been interviewed by European consortiums and parties from Singapore and variety of representatives from other nations. And they really try to figure out what is the magic sauce. And the magic sauce, I think in case of DARPA, is this thing, the notion of recruitment and retention of PMs who are basically excluding myself, titans of industry and science. They hired me by mistake, I'm pretty sure. But the concept really doesn't readily translate to other work cultures. And in order for somebody to come to DARPA, they basically have to take applause from their career. And this is really typically rooted in patriotism, concept of national service, and typically a substantial pay cut relative to working in the industry. And so those are not natural behaviors outside of the United States, I would say. Even in the US, they're not all that natural. So the importance of diversity and broader impact on proposal writing and evaluation. I'm all about best ideas. So it's more important to me than the proposer diversity. So I do have a negative predisposition against professional proposers. These are parties who can't survive without government funding. I really want to be in position of helping proposers as opposed to having them just explore crazy ideas that I have. And I also want proposers that will push back when I say something that's truly insane, as opposed to just agree with everything that the PMs have to say. And again, my goal is to find the parties that have shared vision and use the power of DARPA to accelerate execution of that vision. And my personal observation is that DARPA PM gig is very limited time. The clock is ticking. And so I have very little time to move the needle on science and technology. And that means that I, like everybody else who comes into DARPA, come in with my vision and my agenda. And so people who want to be successful in proposing to me need to make an effort to understand what my vision and agenda is. And coming at me from the left field is not helpful. What I find sometimes is that this role that I'm in is sort of similar to Hollywood executive, where I hear 12 pitches a day. but maybe can pull the trigger twice a year on a big motion picture production. And so, in essence, I would say the best strategy for the proposers, though it's difficult right now with this isolation regime, is to try to get to know the PMs and really understand what the vision is, and then structure their idea pitches around that. And that concludes my short presentation.
Okay, sir, thank you so much. Very appreciative for offering the different perspectives from mission-driven agencies. And the next speaker will be Dr. Robinson Pino from DOE. Robinson, can you unmute yourself? And yeah, let's go ahead.
All right, well, thank you for the invitation to be in this panel. I'm gonna try to address the questions, though Shankar and Serge, a lot of what they said applies to the Department of Energy as well. So what are the new trends in funding strategies? Some of the new trends that we have are in the area of microelectronics. There is a lot of opportunity as the end of Moore's law and as new technologies reach the limits that are possible for fabrication. New materials become more practical, more commercializable, more viable. And so there is a lot of opportunities in the area of microelectronics that we see, and we've started since last year an initiative on microelectronics that I hope will continue to grow. We've also started to fund areas of research in the area of microelectronics, trying to merge the biology with computation and trying to understand that computational architecture that could give us a next generation of AI type computing capabilities. Recently, my office, we published a major report on 5G. Many of you have heard about 5G in the news. And for us, as we strive to deliver scientific capabilities, we're looking at how could we leverage 5G for potential infrastructure or scientific user facilities in terms of research and development that we can leverage those new technologies. How do we initiate new and emerging research topics? With a lot of patience. Many of you that are attending, you know, when we started the efforts in cyber, in neuromorphic and machine learning over 6 years ago, and microelectronics also, that now currently are becoming to become funded activities within the department. So it does take a lot of patience and perseverance, but it is possible to start new areas like Shankar mentioned, even new fields and disciplines altogether. And as computing and computing hardware continues to evolve and grow, like many have said, the person from HP who published how we found the memristor, what's his name? Can't believe I'm missing on his name, but he said
Stan Williams.
Stan Williams. He used to say the best thing that has happened to computing, and for us in computing research, is the challenges in Moore's law and scaling, which has caused a rebooting, a rebirth, a renaissance in computing and computing research. So it is very exciting. We're also in the process of starting new areas in quantum computing, which are going to be quite large and significant, in the hundreds of millions of dollars spent per year on large efforts. How do we balance the diversity of small and large? We do have a lot of small efforts in the million range, and also we have efforts in the multi-billion range, from exascale computing, from light sources, from very large experiment and facilities that are one of a kind. And it is a balancing act, and for us, because one of the good things about the Department of Energy and the Office of Science is our long-term view. And so for us, is very important to keep to the mission that we have in the Department of Energy, and continue to enable those breakthroughs and the opportunities that continue to deliver on the mission of the organization. There is a lot of differences and similarities between all the agencies, and yeah, that alone, that is a big question, and it does take a lot of experience to understand the difference between the NSFs, the DARPAs, the DOEs, the various aspects of DoD in particular also. So that is a big question, and the only caveat that I would say is don't assume that all agencies are the same. Even departments and offices, sections within agencies are different. They have their own personality, and so it is. They're all different, and that is a good thing. That by itself brings a lot of diversity and different thoughts. The importance of diversity. Well, the diversity is key, and I think is one of the greatest strengths that we have in this country, where is based on very competitive opportunities, and they are very competitive. And I think no matter what agency you're in, there is always a limited amount of funds that get to be competed. And I think that the results that we've seen for many decades, maybe a century, for many decades, is all the results, all the scientific breakthroughs that have been enabled because of that diversity and the opportunity that a lot of all the agencies in this country bring to enable those breakthroughs. And so I think the future is very exciting, and in particular the future for computing and hardware and software. So with that, thank you.
Thank you so much, Robinson. Let's move to the next panelist. Damien, do you have any slides you want to share? Or
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear. Yes.
Yeah, because I cannot switch on my video, so it seems that we have some issues here. But I will try to share my slides.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, Yiran, you might want to make him a co-host. I think he dropped for a while and came back.
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly, this was what happened. So.
Yeah, thank you for reminding. Yeah,
yes. So can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, fine. So maybe I'm going to start going quickly on my through my presentation. So I'm not going to answer your questions as you have pointed out them, but I'm just going to show you what the DFG is doing and what we have on the funding now, and what might be the opportunities to get in touch with other countries or with other funding organizations and so on. So The title of my talk is Basic Research in Electrical Engineering, as I'm in charge of electrical engineering there and the funding opportunities in Germany. So let me start here first. So first of all, I'm going to introduce you what the DFG is. Then I'm going to show you what we do with our funding. So how much money we are going to put in it. So about the funding numbers, some comparisons also with different funding agencies. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about coordinating programs, some huge programs, some long-term programs. And finally, I'm going to give you some examples on funding programs in the area of circuits and electronics. It might be quite interesting for you here. And then I'm going to close my talk just showing off collaboration between NSF and the DFG, which we established there in the last year. Yes. Okay, let me start first. What is the DFG? The DFG is the German's largest funding organization. It is a self-governing organization for science and research in Germany. It serves all branches of science and humanities, including engineering science, and including also life science. It is an association which is a kind of exotic under private law. So we are not dependent on the economic system and not directly from the politics. So we are completely independent of that. So it is a membership of different German research universities. Yes, so these are almost 70 universities which are in this association, and a couple of non-university research institutions like Max Planck, which is quite famous, and Fraunhofer Institute. So the funds are coming basically from the state government and from the federal government, the Länder, how we call it there. So here you see the percentage. So it's almost 70% coming from the state government and 30% coming from the federal government. And we spent 3.3 billion euros. So this is what we spent the last year on research and science. Yes. The voting system and also the review system is completely based on science-driven decisions, and this means that we work with peer review process. Yes, our aims are to put the money in the best projects. And this is going into basic research in a continuous flow. This means that we do not have deadlines. We mostly do a continuous process. We have some special projects and programs where we have deadlines, but these are this is a small number. So what we want to reach with our funding is to ensure the best possible support for outstanding scientists and young researchers. To make research funding open to all disciplines, as already said, in accordance with scientific standards of quality, and to keep Germany future-oriented and internationally competitive as a scientific location, not only in Europe, but all over the world. So, and as already mentioned, so we focus our funding mostly on basic research, or only basic research, and this is going into universities mostly. Sometimes we have some collaborations with non-university research institutions as Fraunhofer, Max Planck, Helmholtz, and so on. But yeah, the funding is forged basically to go into universities and to the institutes there, and the professors basically, these are the applicants. We do not support industry funding, so this is completely decoupled. We have some collaborations with them, but these are some loose collaborations. So again, we focus our funding into the basic research. We have some other funding institutions which take care of applied research, development, optimization, and the product. But again, basic research is our main funding aim. Yes, about the funding numbers. So in 2019, we spent a couple so the percentage was something like almost 20%, which was going into the engineering science. So engineering sciences included humanities and social sciences. This is 50% if we spend on it, and life science we have the most money going in, 35.5%, and natural science is a little bit larger than the engineering science, and you see also some which is going into interdisciplinary research. So this is the distribution over the different research areas or research branches, let's say. And here you see the portfolio. So we have different kind of programs, and the most the most of the money is going into the individual grants. So where we have this continuous flow of money and of funding systems. So the researchers in Germany, which are located in Germany, they can go whenever they want for an application into the DFG, and it is completely free of calls. So they can apply for whatever research they want to go in, and they just submit the proposal, and this is going into a review process. And after the review is finished, we are going into an internal review board, which is elected for each area for 4 years. And these people basically do the decision preparation for the funding decision in the DFG Synod. And this is, the most usual way how we fund the research. But apart from this, we have some research units, priority programs, collaborative research centers, research training groups, research centers, which is a special kind of funding program under the Excellent Initiative, the Excellent Strategy. We have also some infrastructure funding for measurement systems, use systems for doing some experiments. And we have also prizes. One of the famous one is this Leibniz Prize, which is the highest prize for research in Germany. Yes, if we compare the different funding numbers, so this slide is a little bit old. The database is from 2014, but this gives you a rough idea about the funding rate. So our funding rate is in between 30 to 40%, which is not that bad. So it's really worth to go for funding. And if you compare it to other countries, we are doing quite fine. So yes, what should I tell you about the rankings? So we do some rankings and based on the different funding numbers. And if we take the different funding numbers and over the disciplines, then we see that Munich in the south of Germany is doing quite well, with Heidelberg in the middle of Germany. And then we have Haan, which is a technical university. This is quite famous. They are also quite famous in this engineering, electrical engineering part. And they are on the 3rd place, so as you can see. So, and all the other universities which you can see here, so they have also a part of funding in a different region. So you see, okay. Here I took an example from the coordinated program. So one of the most famous program is the collaborative research centers, because these are special programs running over 12 years. So we have three funding periods, which are going over 4 years. So this is really a long-term funding, which is quite good for the universities, because then with this kind of funding, they can establish a kind of profile in between the funding, in between the research topics. So, and as you see, we have different regions in Germany. Here is a map, and you see in a different kind of research areas, we have certain amount of activities and research centers. So this is just to show you an overview on the activities here. I picked up a very special funding program, which are the priority programs. So priority programs are basically based on the research-based call. So we announced a program just based on the on a proposal that a couple of researchers present on an emerging field. And what we want to do here is to establish an emerging field and have an interdisciplinary research network between different kind of research disciplines, let's say in material science and electronics, basically. And we want to support an added value to this interdisciplinary collaboration and establish some networking over several locations in Germany. Yes, we have this kind of program into funding of 6 years in total, so and divided into 2 funding periods, and we have there in such a kind of programs over 15 joint projects with more than 30 PhD students working on different topics. Here I give you some examples and mostly focus on circuits and electronics. So we just established this year a topic which is called nanosecurity, from nanoelectronics to secure systems, which is based on different approaches from electronics to come up with a hardware security system. We put almost 7 million euros in it for 3 years of funding. Another program which is right now for going into the funding is memristive devices towards smart technical systems, which is based on this memristive idea. So taking memristive devices and building up some new technical systems with that. Again, we have a funding here of 5.2 million euros for 3 years. We have also another program which might be also quite interesting for you, which is electronic photonic integrated system for ultra-fast signal processing. The people mostly working on electronic and photonic integrated systems, silicon systems, and trying to come up with different kind of new signal processing on that kind of chip. So we have a funding here of 8.1 million euros for 3 years, and we are now looking for the next funding period of 3 years. So the first funding period is almost finished. We finished almost another program, which is wireless 100 gigabit per second and beyond, which was quite interesting because people working on materials up to devices, circuits, and systems were working together for 6 years now and produce a couple of interesting papers and results. And the second funding of period of other program, which is high frequency flexible bendable electronics for wireless communication systems, is running in the last phase with 6.7 million euros for 3 years. So people are working here in building radios and thin organic large area electronic technology. Yes, that's this is another slide, and this is the last slide of my talk. So the DFT supports international research collaboration in all of its funding programs that I already showed you. And what is interesting here is that we can really establish collaboration between different funding agencies with different countries. And we have one nice example between NSF and the DFT on cyber physical systems, which is running in the US. So this is a large program. And we have a smaller program on the bilateral collaboration with the German priority program, cyber physical networking. So this is running well. We have two huge projects running in it, and several researchers that are collaborating here on that funding. That's it. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much for the information. And then move to the next panelist, Victor. Are you ready to share the slides?
Yes, I do. Good afternoon. And
yep,
in interest of time, I will display only one slide. I hope you see it on the screen now. Do you see the slide?
Oh, yes, yes, please.
Yeah.
So in our life and work, we always face two questions: what and how. And in the context of today's panel, the what means the global drivers and constraints for the future information and communication technologies industry, and the house as the specific solutions. So today, we as a global ICT community are at the beginning of a new era, and we need more what type questions. And one ongoing industry-wide initiative is decade plan for semiconductors that poses a number of such what questions. In interest of time of this panel, I will not show you more slides on the content of the detailed plan. It's going to be public in about a month from now. And I just want to say that it is industry-wide initiative with all major semiconductors and IT companies participating, with active participation of San Diego National Labs, Pacific Northwest National Labs, Oak Ridge, and co-sponsored by SRC, SIA, and US Department of Energy. And with this, I would like, so my main point is when we plan research grants, we need to know what we want to achieve. And in my view, in the recent years, much of research was scattered among small house. So small ideas, and the big thing, big picture is sometimes lost. And with this, I would like to answer only question number one, again, in the interest of time, from the list of the questions. What are the new trends in funding strategies of different funding agencies? And I will answer from the point of view of semiconductor industry. Of course, there are different perspectives from different parties. So positive trends, as we see it, is towards the use of OET and OTA contracting vehicle, which is industry friendly compared to other alternatives heavy with fast restrictions. We really love OTAs. Positive trend to include more private-public partnership funding. In particular, I'm referring to DARPA ERI, which was 75 million incremental funding, and most of it includes industry partners. And DARPA offered OTA contracts vehicle for ERI, which is very good. Negative trend, which is getting pretty serious for industry, is a lack of appreciation to the need for industry to have access to the IP created during the research. It makes absolutely no sense to industry to invest time and resources into research that there is no guarantee, commitment that they will be able to take advantage of it in a product process. So with this, I stop here, and we have a few minutes for open mic questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Victor. I believe every panelist have given a talk. So I received many questions actually for the different channels. So let me rephrase some of them, so we're panelists may be able to answer them. But again, due to the time limit, we don't have to like everybody to answer. If you feel like you want to add some sentences, just let me know. So the question I received actually more than once is the impact of the COVID-19, because people worry about the decreased number of the students, the lower productivity, and the difficulty in collaborating between different PIs and also universities. So how those will impact the future funding trend, and also if the funding agency have prepared for such change. I wonder if anybody can answer this.
Well, quickly speaking, for DARPA, we are definitely impacted by this, mainly because our performers are slowed down. And so we're approving very generous no-cost extensions. This is within the realm of each individual program manager, but the agency supports being as flexible as possible. In the short term, that's what we're doing. In the long term, I don't see an impact. I think we're going to rise as a society, and everything's going to be back to normal sooner rather than later. So we're not making any systemic changes to respond to this.
So, yes, thank you, Serge. Anybody else want to add this regarding the impact of the pandemic?
Well, from SRC point of view, we are trying to encourage researchers to.
Yeah, NSF does not have any perceivable impact at all.
Okay.
Business as usual, NSF.
Yeah, same at SRC. So we encourage researchers and students to focus on things that they can do from home, like data analysis, planning future work, writing papers. So there's a lot of things we can do from home. It's amazing.
Yes, in fact, some of our PIs have said to us personally that they have been more productive staying at home.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, the next question I have, also repeated by multiple PIs, are, the recently, we received a report saying there's a news about the U.S. lawmakers, unveil both $100 billion plan to remake National Science Foundation. So I believe this question is for Shankar. So did you hear any news inside the National Science Foundation about
yes.
this investment?
Internet connection is misbehaving, so I did not hear what you said, but I think the question has to do with the fact that in the news, in the media, there has been some reports of NSF amounts of money over the next couple of years. Is that the question?
Yes,
okay.
Say the NSF going to change, the scope become more technology-wise, something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I cannot say very much about this because this is a bill in the Congress, has not passed yet, and but the hearsay is that that it is very likely to pass in some form or other. It may not be exactly the way it has been presented to the Congress, but when it passes, we will know exactly what it is. One of the things that the bill proposes is that the name of National Science Foundations be changed to National Science and Technology Foundation, so technology added. And there will be a new directorate created within NSF with a new head of that directorate under the director who will oversee this technology directorate, which does not exist now. And it will primarily get involved into things of the type that engineering and computer science does. And it will get a large amount of funding over the next 5 years or so. So this is in terms of, no, this is all fictitious at this point. Nothing has happened. If and when this happens, we will know how it will change NSF, if at all.
Okay, thank you so much. The next question is actually particular for Damian. The people ask, besides the DFG, if there is any other, the European funding agencies that can fund the PIs from US, and what is the expectation, from such a, funded program from, funding agency from Europe?
Sorry, can you repeat your question? So you refer to Europe funding or to you
I think the question is, besides the DFT, are there any other European funding agencies that can fund the PI from US? And they actually can, sponsor the activity in US, which means they need to move money to US, I guess. And also, what are the expectations, from such a program?
Well, it is always difficult to move the money from one country to the other because this is taxpayer money. So we at the DFG are not allowed to do so. I don't know what kind of possibilities the other countries have, but I suppose that they are very little. So the collaboration is basically based on having a first contact, and the first contact is going mostly from researchers to researchers. So, and then we get in touch with the program officers, managers, directors from agency to agency and try to find the right way to establish this kind of collaboration based on project funding. This is how DFG is working and how we try to promote things. So, we have certain possibilities to establish collaboration with developing countries where we are able to transfer money to the researcher in the developing country, but well, this is very restricted. So with EAS, so what we do is we have funding in such a form that the the DFG money is going to the German researcher, which is based in a research institution in Germany, and this person has a collaboration with a US researcher, and the funding, should become somewhere else where, in the US. So, and this is what we establish also in the DFG NSF program with this priority program that I mentioned on, cyber-physical systems. So basically, the money is not going, it's not leaving, it's not going abroad, basically.
Okay, so thank you so much. I received one question from Sharon about, the feedback from different funding agencies, because we know the National Science Foundation give the PI very thorough feedback if their proposal got reviewed, but not other funding agencies. So, so the question is, if there is any other feedback channels we can leverage to the PIs and to continue to improve the quality of the proposals on the first. I guess the question is for DARPA, DOE, and maybe ISRC. So, who want to answer? Serge, could you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I have to confess, I didn't really understand the question. I think that's why the other panelists are pausing as well.
I see. I guess the question is, except for OpenSF, most of other agencies, they don't provide, the feedback as detailed, I will say, as OpenSF usually do. So if they ask if there is any rationale behind this practice, and also if there is any channel they can receive the feedback.
Well, so at DARPA, there are very strict rules related to source selection. So the first gate is proposal compliant or non-compliant. So if the proposal misses the mark, it's marked as non-compliant, and then the proposer is not entitled to an explanation. If the proposal is compliant but is not selected, the proposer has an opportunity to ask for a 15-minute feedback session, and I would say about 20% of them do. And so then I am required by law to provide that. Okay. So it's a very rigid system because it's bound by all the source selection rules.
I see. Yeah. Thank you for answering this. Robinson, you have anything to add?
At the Department of Energy, there can be multiple ways to get the feedback. Sometimes a letter of intent is required, and the output for the feedback from a letter of intent could be is it answers the scope, it does not answer the scope. Again, the letter of intent could be 2 pages or 1 page. There is also the pre-proposal, which is basically an abstract. And the feedback for those is in scope or out of scope, because they're very short. Now, when it comes to full proposals, each proposal that gets reviewed, the proposer gets access to the reviews, to the literal reviews that are input by the actual reviewers. Obviously, the reviewers are anonymized, but the proposer will see exactly what the reviewers wrote about their proposal.
I see. Yeah, thank you so much, for answering this. We actually run out of time. but I still want to have the last items, for this panel, because I received many questions regarding if they have any, if you guys have any advices to the PIs regarding writing a good proposal, get funded or something first. So if you can choose one sentence, advice, to these PIs about, their career or, writing a proposal, get funded. So what you will, advise them. So let's just start with maybe Shanka. Do you have any one sentence, advice to all the PIs?
Yeah, I mean, I would rather answer a different question, and that has that's question number 6, and nobody pretty much has addressed that. And I think the question was targeted at NSF. And since I ran out of time, it has to do with the importance of diversity and broader impact in proposal writing. Okay, so I will say, well, we all use taxpayer dollars and are obligated to return that money to the people in some shape or form. So broader impact is important. So at NSF, while education training of science and STEM students is an important priority, industry adoption of NSF research results are also important. That is part of broader impact as well, very much so. And we do work with industry very much, including SRC. And Victor did not mention this, but over the last 20 or so years, we have had many joint programs with SRC, which Victor doesn't even feel worth mentioning, but that is the truth. So I'd say about diversity, 2 things. The diversity is important for 2 different reasons. One is the outreach to, outreach to underrepresented groups, women, minority, whatever it is. It creates a new pipeline to overcome the progressively thinning graduate student population in this country, US-born population. This is a serious problem, everybody knows. So if you include women, minority, that's a new source of student body. The second thing is, and this is more subliminal, and it is known now among psychologists and all, that women or other people belonging to other groups, they come up with solutions to technical problems which are very different from men or other people do. So by including those people, you not only increase the pipeline, you even enrich the solution space. You are looking at now different solutions that nobody has thought about before. So those are the 2 reasons you include diversity. Now, I would say in the end that, most of you and your research, including you, Yiran, and you are just a sample, will be forgotten in the long run. We are not going to fund Albert Einsteins here, but the students you create and their students they will create, that is going to be your legacy, right? So if that's your legacy more than the research papers you write, why not invest in them more than anything else?
Shanka, thank you so much. Yeah. So let's move. Serge, do you have any advice to us?
Yeah. I guess I'm devastated because I am hoping to find Albert Einstein in this group. So, so now I'm going to be sad and go home. But my advice here is that is for the proposers or researchers to look at the interests that are listed on the DARPA website for every program manager. And when you pitch either bullseye at the things that they're interested in or things that are on the periphery of what they're interested in. Because not a single PM at DARPA comes in with a clean slate looking for ideas. Everybody comes in with a vision. And so the proposal that can support, and that vision is visible in the on the DARPA website. And the proposal that supports that vision, no matter what form it takes, is much more likely to be accepted.
Yes, thanks so much. It's very informational. Robinson, do you have anything you want to add from DOE perspective?
What I would say is to try to understand the mission of the organization. Like we in particular, we spend a lot of time, years, working with the community to create and publish reports. And a lot of our vision for research comes out of those reports. and understanding them and reading them and reading the solicitations is important to understand what we're looking for.
Thank you so much. You're very helpful. And Damien, do you have anything you want to say to our PIs?
Yes, maybe just from the perspective of basic research in engineering. So what we work with is the peer review process. And for the peer review process, it is very important to be very concrete in writing the proposal. So to show numbers, to show the optimization process, to show a concrete the models, and not to be so general in writing the proposal and trying to change the paradigm, but really to go for step by step and explaining the reviewers how you want to get to the next step. So really to be more engineer, to be more specific, and yes, to be realistic. So if you have a vision, then you do not have the vision to change the world completely, but what you have in mind is how to get to the next step, and to describe this matter, how you're going to reach that. Because what we get also for the huge programs is a very broad vision with very inconcrete descriptions. And so my suggestion would be really to put in numbers that the people can really see if this is realistic or not. So from my perspective.
Thank you. Victor, you have 1 minute to say this.
Yeah, my advice is be relevant. And one good way to stay relevant is to work closely with industry. And if you look for future Albert Einsteins, I recommend we all, after this panel, Google Nobel Prizes in physics. And you will be surprised how many of them were awarded to industrial research. Is people at industry, at IBM, for example, at Texas Instruments, at other companies. Well, Marconi got it's for radio. But anyhow, you will be surprised that at least 10% of all Nobel Prizes in physics were issued for industry relevant research.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for all the panelists. You know, actually, especially Damien, you're almost 2 a.m. in Germany. And thank you for all the audience. I will say, you know, if we work together, you know, from the funding agency and PI, so we're able to find out the next Einstein, you know, among us. And thank you for all the panelists, the service to our panel and the service to our community. This basically concludes our section. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.